NDSU Baking School, Lesson 5, chocolate cherry or cherry chocolate scones. And so with this recipe, we're going to start off with a 1.5 cups of all-purpose flour. And there we are. And again, our measuring cup. We need to make sure to lightly scoop our flour into the measuring cup. And then, oops. We need something to scrape it off with. A flat edge will do. So there is our cup and 1/2. Let's see, where did I do that? Oh, and you can see I'm a little light there, so let's go back in. Fill that in. And there's the 1/2 cup. So we can set that aside. And then it does call for a 1/2 cup or a whole cup of the wheat flour. So this is whole grains in here, and remember with our My Plate, we want to make sure that 1/2 of our grains come from whole grain sources, and so wheat flour is a whole grain. Okay, and we will set that aside. We also need to use about 1/2 cup of sugar. And we'll set our sugar aside. We also have a teaspoon of salt. I'm not a fan of these measuring spoons. They're too flat and it flies out over the top. So let's use a scraper to level it off. And then it also calls for a tablespoon, and that's a lot of it, but this is a tablespoon of the baking powder, not the baking soda, the baking powder. So a tablespoon. It does have quite a bit of that in there. And we'll set those 2 items aside. Okay. Okay, and then we're going to stir that up. Getting all of our powdery ingredients well stirred up so we don't have any pocket of one over the other. And I like to use a whisk, but you can use a couple of forks if you do not have a whisk. It does the same job. Okay, it's going to call for a 1/2 cup of chocolate, semi-sweet chocolate chips. And I had the mini chocolate chips on hand, but the students were provided with the regular size. So we're going to do mini chocolate chips, and I'll just spread those out in here. The students were also provided with the dried cherries. I had trouble sourcing those locally, so I ended up ordering them off of a well-known retailer that was able to deliver them to my door. And so you could do that, but one thing if you could do as well, okay, so these are the dried cherries, and they are quite large. If you did have trouble sourcing them, we tried these when I prepared this recipe last night, and we did the dried cranberries, and they worked out pretty good. They actually tasted pretty good, and we can get those locally sourced. They were easier for us to get our hands on, and it worked out well. Okay, so let's mix that all together. and distribute our chocolate chips and our cherries. Okay, and then it does call for a 1 3/4 cups of heavy whipping cream. And again, remember what I said about not eyeballing from the front, but checking and making sure that you can see it from the side. And you can see I looked at the top and I had over measured that. And there we are. Make a well in your powder mixture. Pour that cream in there. And then we need 3/4 more of that. I'm going to lift it up and from the side here. So not quite 2 cups, 1 3/4 cup of heavy cream. Then I take my scraper, just get rid of that. All right. So the only liquid that we had in this was the cream. What I like about scones is they're not terribly sweet. I like that about that. They're quick bread. We've already done one quick bread. We did the pancakes, but this cherry scone is a quick bread as well. So we don't want to overbeat, we just want to get to the point where all of our stuff is mixed in. We want a nice dough ball. And again, today is one of those days, outside, the humidity is a little bit higher. So just keep working it though. You can see I still have quite a bit of powder residue, the flour mixture. We want to incorporate that all the way into our dough. Okay, this is where I'm going to get my heavy wooden measuring spoon, because the measuring spatula just doesn't have enough oomph for me to be able to stir it. I'm going to try to get some of the dough off of my spatula so that I can peek up underneath the dough that we already have with it and make sure that we are scraping all the flour mixture into the dough. And it's starting to form up its ball. This is going to be a little bit stickier. And like I said, today, as we're preparing this recipe today, it is a high humidity day. So I have a little trick that I'm going to show you what to do when it's high humidity like this. We're actually going to put a little bit on our board. And you can see that in your recipe you probably will see a little bit of flour too. But we're going to roll it on wax paper just for easy cleanup. We're going to make a large disc of our dough. Let's just turn that dough. Actually, I was going to put some flour on there first. Let's do that. So we put a little flour, because it is quite sticky yet. Just spread that on our surface. Okay, now we can turn out the dough. And I'm going to place a little flour on my hands. And kind of form this into place. I'm going to beat some of that extra flour off the top, or just pat it. I want all edges of my dough ball here to have a little light dusting of flour on that, so that it's not going to stick to my wax paper. And you notice I'm just patting it, and it's getting larger and larger, wider and wider on my circle. You could roll this out too, but if you just take your hand and we're just going to press that dough into the shape that we want it. Make it a circle, and of course I want it to be the same consistent depth all the way around. And mine is going to be about a 10-inch circle. You find that it's starting to get a little sticky again, don't put the flour on the dough, but just go ahead and coat your hand with a little bit of flour. Rub it like that. And that's going to prevent it from getting sticky or sticking to you. And again, we want it to be about a 10-inch depth diameter. All right. And then this is a little trick that I like to do for my cutter. So I'm just using a pizza cutter to cut this, and we're gonna make 10 slices with this. So first of all, we're gonna cut it in half, and then I'm going to need to make 5 on each side. So it's not quite in quarters. So I think that, and it might not be exact, every piece might look a little bit different. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, and it's starting to stick a little bit, so I want to make sure to coat up my pizza cutter again. So I had 1, 2, 3, 4, and okay. I have my baking sheet here, and I have parchment paper. So this is where I can talk a little bit about, you know, the different papers. Parchment paper often is used for baking because it's heat stable, so it's not going to burn, and it's going to keep any item from sticking onto the surface that it is baking on. Okay, and again, now I'm going to place the scone pieces. So I first of all went and dipped those into the flour just like that so it doesn't stick on me. And if it does stick, then that's going to help to seal up the sticky edges. And we're just going to start placing them on our pan. You might have to recut your edges as well. All right, so our oven, we're gonna bake that at 350 for about 20 minutes. I did find that my oven cooked it a little bit slower, so I'm going to cook mine for about 25 minutes is what time I found that my oven, I'd have a nice lightly browned bottom surface of my scones. So let's set that timer. We're going to set it for 25 and join us back here in 25 minutes. And what ease that cleanup is going to be. This is your chocolate, your cherry chocolate scone. I'm Donna Anderson for the NDSU Kids Baking School for Eddy and Foster Counties.